start messing with the center board.
Star Stream.
Blanchard.
Yes, it looked like Star Stream.
There's that famous. Who graduated like 45 or 46, graduated like class of 50.
Glenn Davis.
Glenn Davis. He was, I got half of him. And,
Alrighty, we are live.
Okay, 7 o'clock, time to get started. Thank you for those who braved the much warmer than cold, snowy weather that we've had a few weeks ago. Okay, a few more coming in. Don't have very much in the way of announcements for this evening. The invoices for dues. Southern Chapter does have a couple of semi-pro games coming up. I believe I said to Michael, was it April 25th, I think, and May 30th, I think those were the two dates. What we're doing is we're mixing some of our veterans with some of our applicants for those games. So if you have availability on those two dates, let me know. We'll try to work you in.
You said you already sent that out?
No, the board talked about it, now I'm letting you know.
What makes you?
Yeah. So, no, the first two games have already been assigned. I've put some people out already. But since we're having a meeting, I figured I'd let you know and you can let me know. And we'll see what matches up. Pay for those games, $100 is 6 men. So that is what it is. Scrimmages for the chapter, as far as our new applicants, are a little light this year. Because MEAC does not allow officials to come in unless they are invited. Bowie State, I'm not sure when they are going to scrimmage. And Lincoln University has a new coach who is an interim coach. And the only date that they're going to go or ask for officials is April 10th at 6 o'clock, which is a Friday night. So if you are interested in that, let me know. CIAA officials will not be able to attend to that, so I'm trying to scrounge up some officials, which kind of segues into the CIAA mini camp is April 10th through the 12th, and staff officials are required to be there, and so he said we couldn't cover scrimmages elsewhere, so I'm going to help the coach try and cover his scrimmage and maybe get our applicants and some of you some work as well. All right. Mike, do you have anything?
No, I think we went over everything.
Okay.
You got here faster than planned. So.
Yeah, I did. Last thing for those of you that have meetings with your high school group, TBFOC is going to kick off TBFOC 101, which is more of a entry level to upper level college, lower level college, higher level high school. Try and transition you from 4 to 6 and 7-man mechanics. Try and help you develop the basics. So for those of you who have potential applicants, have them email me, robert@tbfoc.org. We'll have space for about 70 slots. It'll be Wednesdays from 6:45 to 8:45. And it will be for 5 weeks. The only change will be the 4th Wednesday in April will be out at the clubhouse, and so 101 will be Monday. The meetings are at the Laurel Library. If they send me an email saying they're interested, I will get them all of the details.
I'm sorry, Ron, when does it start? When did you say?
The first Wednesday in April.
April 1st. Next Wednesday.
You're not full, right?
All right, so without any further ado, if there are no questions, we'll bring up Todd Reese, one of the best officials in the country, bar none, and we'll see what he has for us tonight.
All right, thanks for having me, Robert. Guys, thanks for coming. Just telling Jeff, I've got an arena game my first arena game coming up Saturday night, and so I really haven't been focused too much on the college rules. I'm still trying to learn arena rules. So if I stumble here, I'm thinking, oh boy, what is that, an arena? That might be why. So anyway, I'm going to start off with a couple presentations. I got some film. I've got all kinds of things that we can look at, talk about. Actually, I got a PowerPoint that I'd like you to help me with. It would be very boring for me to go through it, but it's called situations. It's things that have happened to me or happened to our crews that I've learned from, and it's good just to talk through it. So first of all, we get this is something we do in our crew. If you guys were here when I came to the DC class, the 301 class, I put this up then as well. But it's something our crew, we read it right before we go on the field every game. And it's pretty simple. It's just expect the unexpected. Expect that the R knows nothing of what happened on the play. Whenever you go to talk to him, you just give him the whole detail. Not too much, you don't want to take all day, but give him all the details. Expect that nobody knows the down after a penalty. We had a crew last year that lost the down after a penalty and lost a game, actually literally lost 2 games that year. So it's pretty harmful on the bank account. Expect that nobody knows how many timeouts are left, and if a team already called a timeout. This is NFL. This is from Mr. Hill, Coach Hill in the NFL. Did he win the Super Bowl this year? I believe he did. No, he didn't. The other guy did. So anyway, but he worked it a couple years ago. So the deep 3, got to expect every play to go to distance. Expect the scorer will lose the ball before he goes over the goal line. That happened in, was that Utah game? Expect the appropriate coach to call timeout. And I think this is for the side judge, field judge. If we're down by the goal line and time's critical, I always tell my field judge, you got the coach's timeout, because I've got the line of scrimmage here as a wing guy, and the deep wing is usually further deep or doesn't have anything to worry about at the line of scrimmage. He can look after the play immediately to the coach and see if he wants the timeout. Expect nobody knows the status of the clock, wind or snap. You know, when you go out and watch officials, you guys are veterans enough, but you know when you go watch officials, that's one thing I look for in an official is, are they clock aware? Are they giving the referee any help? Are they doing just the little things like this? So work that, and you're doing scrimmages, think clock every play. I do this in all my games. If it's clock's running, I'm doing this knowing, hey, it's running, or we're going snap. And I'm just doing this little thing because I've had the clock so long as a line judge. I didn't have it last year, but it's just a good little habit to be in, because at the end of the game, it gets very critical. Expect nobody knows the runner of the number on a 4th down fumble. I think that MFR is under 2 minutes in the pros. Have discipline. Where we at? Have discipline to look in your area, especially when it's when the play's away from the point of attack. You never know what you might find. That's just being a good official. Just being aware of what's going on. The play may be away from you, but you still got stuff to take care of in front of you. Expect the clock operator never starts or stops the clock after a kickoff. We had this, not in my game, but in a game in the American Conference, we had one where the clock ran through a try for point. So they lost 30 seconds or whatever it was. But somebody had caught it. And what they did is they let the clock run. They didn't stop it because the team was lining up, ready to kick. They didn't make a big deal out of it. They noted it down when the team scored, but the clock actually started. So something good. Expect somebody to commit a UNR. Don't be surprised. Look for people taking runs, especially away from. Extend your focus after each play to look for these UNRs. Expect a fair catch signal on a pooch kickoff or an INV on onside kicks. Kick into the ground. So invalid. So those are just some things. I've got a copy of it, or I could send it to you guys if you want to use that. Let's go to the next one here. Let's go to this PowerPoint. Where did I go? Here it is. This is one I need you guys' help on. We'll see how far we get on this. If this gets too boring, we can do something
This
else.
button up top's a slideshow.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, I tried to do this. I would jot these down as I listened to Terry's tapes or plays that were my little diary of games, things that happened to me. I would write them down. And then at the end of the season, I'd type up a screen and I just threw it in this PowerPoint of things that happened. Kickoff receiver touching the ball. Art touches the ball prior to it going in the end zone. What should the mechanic be? Deep wings. What should you do, Mike?
Why?
Right? And why is that so important? These are up there for a reason. Something bad happened in most of these scenarios.
First of all, you need the clock to run because you need the clock to run, but it also indicates to everybody that R has touched it, which is important.
Right.
Because now if it rolls into the end zone, we're not going to kill it.
Right. It's a live ball going in the end zone. So what happened in this game is somebody killed it and wasn't watching. Would you give this or would you just wind it?
Just wind the clock.
Just wind it up. And if you're the off official or if you're the R, Robert, you're back there and you see it's coming to me. I'm the wing guy and it's coming near, and my return guy comes over at the 2, reaches down and touches it. You may not see it, but it touches it and it goes in the end zone. If you're not looking, you don't know, and you start, and the guy killed it, and the ball's we have an inadvertent whistle then. So that's one thing that was a situation we had to handle. What if they touch it? This is another one. R touches it. This is an onside kick. Now R touches it before it goes 10 yards. What do we got? And what do we got with the clock? It's an onside kick.
Live ball.
Live ball. Do we have a beanbag?
No.
No. We had a situation where we got through a beanbag and didn't do anything else. So then we came to him he goes, well, we had touching. It was like, well, that's okay. You know, you come in as a referee, you see a beanbag out, you're thinking, well, I got to do it. That puts the wrong message. So the only beanbag, and the same thing is K touching prior to going. What do? You mechanically throw the bag, and do you wind the clock? No.
Not been legally touched.
Right, legally touched. All right, next one. Oh. Thanks. All right, it's run play enforcement. B fouls behind the neutral zone, and the play ends behind the neutral zone. So we have quarterback back. He gets face mask to the ground, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. These are all things that we've screwed up. My crew has screwed up. So where's the enforcement for it? Jeff, you probably know.
The previous spot.
Previous spot. Yeah. So we started to go. There was confusion on the play. We started to go from where the guy was down. Actually, it wasn't 5 yards. It was only 2 yards back. But the whole confusion, and then, one guy said, well, the end of the run was here, and then we said, no, the end of the run, because the quarterback had gotten away and come out, and, all the confusion can happen. But you got to go back to the previous spot for that. All right, this is the other one, holding near the line of scrimmage. What's the enforcement? So we have a run play. Say we snap at the 25, going the long way here from the A25. And we have a hold downfield 1 yard, and the play goes. Basically, just take it from the previous spot. What happens is you got 4 guys trying to coordinate the mark off. Where it was a flag is exactly where the guy held the ball 1 yard away. If it's within 1 or 2 yards of the previous spot, just go to the previous spot and mark it off back. Because you start going here, and it's invariably it happens. This happens to me, and we have 3 people trying to coordinate. You got the head linesman and the line judge holding it, and you get there, and then all of a sudden he's not going from the stake, and now you got this whole confusion. It's like, Robert, where are you taking that from? Is it previous spot or here? And just go from the previous spot, and that cleans it up, and then you don't have somebody going in, well, you were a yard off, or that flag wasn't. It just if it's near the line of scrimmage, just take it from the line of scrimmage, and it'll make your game flow go much better. And another mistake. Yeah.
You might do it, we'll talk about it here, go ahead.
Okay. Onside kickoff. This one here has got a lot of goofy stuff in it. Kickoff directly in the ground. Can we have kick catch interference?
Yes.
And it has to be what? Directly in the ground. It's got to just one bounce, right? If it goes two, then everything's off. And this is something that I'm still trying to wrap my brain around. So we have it in there, and now it goes up. Now what? Can I fair catch this now? Can they? And I can. And they can't hit me.
Right.
Is anybody in here a coach? Football coach? Is? Why don't you have all your guys just stand there and do this the whole time? They can't touch them. Am I right? I mean, if they do this type of kick, if they pooch it, now if they come down and hit me, I got a flag. You know, maybe they probably won't pooch it if they see everybody doing this, but I don't know. There's nothing to lose other than you can't catch it and run, but I've only seen that happen twice. But, all right. So anyway, they can fair catch. That's just one more thing that this would be a good thing to go through in your pregame. The kicker blocking restrictions. What can't they do? The kickers, K going down to recover this thing. What can't they do? Blocking ones.
They're allowed to leave with the ball.
Block before they're eligible to touch the ball. And this is a now who's responsible for that? Who's going to get that?
Offside, deep wings.
It's possible opposite side. Any other ideas? I've gotten this a couple times. I got
The center judge, name it.
center judge Nate. Where they're in the middle, right? Yeah, that's possible. I didn't even think of that. I think it's the short wings because we're at the 5. And I'll tell you what I do. I mean, on our crews, I'll tell my deep guy, he's got the ball. He's got the ball, and whether it crosses that line or whatever, who touches it near that line or whatever happens with that ball. But I'll have the blocks. At least 3 of those guys, and hopefully my short wing, my guy that's on the line scrimmage, he'll have maybe 3 of those guys, and I'll have the other 3. But what to look for is look for the guy with the brick in his hand. There's usually they're coaching a couple of those guys just to go down and blow those guys up, keep them away from the ball. You take that guy, I'll take this. If you can spot those guys and focus on them, they'll take you right to the foul. And you have to know that that's a foul you have to almost create in your mind before it happens. Because when it happens live and you're not looking for it, you'll never get it. And you can watch film and not even get it. But if you just focus on 1 or 2 guys that look like they're going down there to crash the party, those are the guys that will get you to foul. All right, fumbles. Yeah.
Before you go on, with your first slide and with that third slide you just did, if R touches the ball before it goes 10 yards, we wind the clock. Okay? I always ask people in my pre-games, if a free kick goes out of bounds, what are your options? Okay?
Oh, good
5
one.
yards and re-kick.
That should be in there.
Okay, and so the issue is, if it happened to have been touched by R before it went out of bounds, okay, then they take it where it goes out of bounds.
Right.
Okay, they don't get 5 more yards, 5 yards and re-kick, or 25 yards beyond, or 30 yards beyond the spot of the kick. It's theirs when it went out of bounds.
Right.
So that's one of those instances where you want that guy to wind that clock.
How often do you get that though?
That's what I'm saying, but that's,
That's a
so
great-
now, we got a free kick out of bounds, what are your options? Well, you wanna move back 5 or take it here, whatever. Sometimes you don't get that.
Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, I mean, and that's a super point because none of us are thinking about clock in that onside kick situation. And if you do see that touch and you go out, you got, and we'll probably be good at stopping it, but nobody wanted it. Good point. Somebody else have a thought? All right, fumbles forward. I try to go through these all the time. Fumble, if we're going this way, fumble forward, boom, goes out of bounds, we'll stop it. We got a beanbag here, it goes forward, boom, and we come back to the beanbag, right? Mechanically, what you'll see a lot of guys do is they'll beanbag it and they'll still go up to this and act, because it's just human nature to come up and get the spot where it went out, and then they come back and they put it down. But we always want to wind that clock up. And it gets more critical when you get near a front stake, because I'm saying the front where your beanbag goes. So you if it's near a front stake, then you're gonna it could decide whether it's a first down or not. But you still have to clock status. Fumble forward near the pylon. Gosh, sure enough, I've had one where it wasn't my call, it was my field judge's call. But you're coming down and the guy's going down for the pylon and the ball came out about the 4-yard line or 3-yard line, boom. And sure enough, and then the players kept going and they wiped out the pylon and the ball followed and landed right on the point where the goal line and the out of bounds. So we had to make a decision. It's the worst case scenario, and we put it back on the 4-yard line. But the tape later showed that it was probably a touchback because it hit more of the goal. And it was just like the ball knew exactly where to land. So crazy things can happen on that. Backward, out of bounds, pretty simple. If it's a backward fumble, you're just going to stop it, and you wind it up if it's outside of 2, right? Wrong league. Player out of bounds, touches near the sideline or the end line and is OB. Player touches the ball. Oh, this is a good one. Luckily we have instant replay. We do. You got to stay with these guys. On these fumbles, whenever you have a fumble near an end line or sideline, you can't just look to see who gets the ball. You got to look to see where they are in relationship to the goal line or the end line in recovering. Because invariably we look at who has the ball, but we don't look at that leg that's out of bounds or that foot that's touching out of bounds. You see it in the pros all the time when they do the replays. Oh, his foot's out when he's touching the ball. So nobody can recover because it's a ball out of bounds. That whole thing, you've got to build those mental visions in your mind. It's like, oh, the ball's loose near the sideline. You almost have to give up the ball a little bit and watch the sideline as much, because if somebody touches the ball and touches the sideline, you have an out of bounds situation. So trust me, from the few that I've missed.
That became more complicated last year when they clarified when a player's out of bounds. A player leaves from out of bounds and touches that ball before he has established himself back in bounds. Yeah. That's another one, and you don't even think about it. All of a sudden, he jumps on the ball and says, well, where did he come from?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's coming up. I have a slide on that where this whole new rule thing, I mean, we've all done it for so long, and now it shouldn't seem hard, but it's hard to get used to. Here we go.
You get B, he's out of bounds and he dives on it. It's obvious B has it, but he was out of bounds. You stop the clock and then start pointing for A immediately.
Yeah, if you're 100% sure, sell the crap out of that. Yeah. And then you should go take it to the referee and say, hey, announce this.
Right.
Turn on your mic and tell them what happened.
Absolutely. In all these scenarios with receivers out of bounds, fouling and all this stuff. Let's walk through these. We've got a couple deep guys here that can help me with this. Mike, maybe you can help with the A88 goes out of bounds on his own and returns and catches the ball. What would you have?
Flag now.
You have a flag. Do you have a whistle?
No.
Do we have a whistle from anyone? No. That's a hard one to. So like, boom, you just flag it. And what's the penalty, referees?
Lost it down in the previous spot.
Lost it down previous spot, that's it, right? No 5 yards, no nothing.
Which isn't really a penalty at all. It's like you never really call
Yeah,
it.
you think
But
about
That's
it.
in effect what it is, an incomplete pass.
Right, but it's not really.
There's
a
no real
penalty, it's just
foul,
What happened?
It would offset something else.
Okay.
That's a
you're
good
right.
point. Excellent, yeah, good job, guys. He goes out on his own and somebody commits DPI, hook and turn
On him?
on him. We have a flag down and say it's incomplete. We should have 2 flags down, right? We have the line judge threw a flag, he stepped out. No, wait, it's not a flag until you touch him.
That's right.
So now, so we have, oh, he touched it. Now, here comes, let's not put it on the field judge, put it on the back judge. Comes whipping this in with a hook and turn.
But now we're gonna wipe off the DPI.
Everybody, yeah?
We're gonna replay it again.
No, because we're
No
gonna wipe
DPI
off.
because he went
It's
in.
not-
Oh, there's no foul.
He's lost his
No, there is a
eligibility
foul.
by
Right,
going
there is
out
a
of
foul.
bounds.
So
He
there's
could
no
be
foul against
held,
him.
It could be a
Yeah.
foul, but there is no DPI.
Right, right, if you have defensive holding, that's a different animal.
Right.
Well, and then
Right.
if he touches it and there's DPI,
He catches it.
we would just the illegal touching,
Lost it down, previous spot.
and it doesn't get wiped out by the DPI
And then
Because
your
there is
field-
no DPI.
Your field judge tells the back judge you do not have a foul, he was not an eligible receiver.
That's the thing. And that's what you gotta tell your referee. Ow.
I'm back there going,
What's
tell
your
me what you
announcement?
had.
You're gonna be a referee.
For which? Did he touch it?
He caught it. And he got
Right.
DPI.
So, illegal touching, offense number 88. There is no foul for defensive pass interference as number 88 went out on his own and returned and was therefore ineligible to touch the ball. The penalty for going out of bounds and returning and touching the ball is loss of down at the previous spot. Everybody's asleep, right?
It's not an easy
It's
one.
about right.
Start with there is no foul.
There is no foul.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference because he was not an eligible receiver. Then you announce the foul that you do have. That way you don't have to keep going back
Go back
and
and
forth
forth.
between the two.
And there's a loss of that.
The trick for referees and sometimes umpires and short wings, anybody that's near the referee, help him consolidate that verbiage before he gets on the mic. You don't want him stumbling and bumbling because his presentation is critical to what the crowd thinks of everybody on the field.
I usually like to say it out loud to who I'm working with, the umpire, the calling official, and say, does that sound right to you? You know, is that, do we have the right idea? Are you understanding what I'm saying? And then we'll go. Yeah, if it's something stupid, it's like easy, everybody knows what it is, I'm not gonna do that. But if it's something complicated, and you can't confirm with me that that's the correct way to say it, then we're not doing our jobs.
You need to practice in front of the mirror along with your signals,
That's it.
okay?
That's it.
You all sit in the mirror and shave your face, okay? Be thinking about, what would the signal be for any particular foul, and what am I gonna say? So you're gonna give a signal, or you're gonna give, whatever it is, all right? And say, I got defensive pass interference on number 29, whatever. I mean, but while you're practicing your signals in front of the mirror, you should be running what you're gonna be saying for those situations. It's the only way you're gonna practice, And I don't think the guy in the mirror is gonna yell at you, okay? So just,
And then you'll be
So
lucky.
also good practice if you're going over tests in the car and you're with the referee or the backup referee. Have him practice the announcement for the foul. It's a lot easier the more you say it. And I know some have daughters and sons who are out there dancing for a living. One of the reasons they practice so hard is so that muscle memory takes over. When you get tired, you forget. The body does it. And so one of the reasons we go over some of these things is so when we're tired and we forget, bad weather, hot weather, cold weather, snowing, miserable, bad game, we've got to nail it regardless of our circumstances. So the more we practice, the better we get.
Absolutely. Those are great comments. Hey, I wanted to compliment Robert. I watched one of your games this year. It was a Thursday night or Friday night. I don't remember the teams were, but I'll tell you the best team was yours. You guys worked your asses off. It wasn't an easy game.
Lincoln Cheney, yeah.
And there was a lot of calls, and they all were there. And I was just like, dang, these guys nailed it. So, all right, the last one on these goofy out of bounds plays, we have a B foul that puts A out of bounds. And he returns and he catches it, and you could have OPI or DPI. You can build on this, okay? We don't want to waste time on it, but just you can imagine all the crap that can go off there. But knowing if that guy's pushed out of bounds, he didn't go out on his own, that's huge. And how much does it take to push somebody out? That's up to your supervisor. Some conferences, a touch is enough to put somebody out, and maybe another place it may not be. You know, so you got to know that before for your grading wise. And that's something you might want to, at your clinic or your whatever. Say, hey, how much? What puts a guy out of bounds? Is it just this, a hand on him, or does it literally have to be contact of some nature? Sideline pass communication, short wing, and deep wing. This is that whole out of bounds. This pissed me off last year. I had a game in Cincinnati, and I had this catch, and it looked like a normal 8-yard down and out. He catches it, and his back is to me, and he goes down, and I just normal play. And I'm coming up, boom, and my deep guy comes to me and goes, "Did you see the ball hit the ground?" I was like, "I was absolutely positive." I was like, "No, it didn't hit the ground." Like he was asking me if it did. And I was like, "No, good catch." He goes, "Okay," and he walked away. He went away. So we go to the film, and sure enough, it came out. You know, as he goes to the ground, you have to get the ball. So anyway, we all got dinged up for that. But if you know, if you know 100% that the ball's incomplete, just come in and take it over. You know?
Clearly he didn't, right?
What's that?
He was asking you. Clearly he
Yeah,
didn't.
it's like if I saw it, and I was like, no, I had a good catch. You know, if you saw something, just come in and, even though one official maybe has it, but if you have definite knowledge, that's what this is all about. Inbounds, out of bounds, that whole thing with the sideline is, I'm still trying to mechanically improve on the guy going to the ground and staying with him until he's, has that position all the way through the play. That's something I'm so old and whatever that I have to slow down a little bit and get that. I think this isn't totally correct. What's wrong with this slide? Maybe you guys can help me. But Peelback is on the offense blocking low towards his own goal line. That's a lineman on maybe a screen or something. He turns back and gets somebody. A blind side is on a punt or and it's a targeting foul to the head and neck area, looking for an ear hole shot. Is there anything missing on this slide? Possibly.
Somebody might say that pill is, something you take. Peel is something that you do.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah, that is wrong. Look at that. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Sorry
The
about
other
that.
thing on the blind side, you're talking, targeting in the head and neck area.
What's the other air on this thing? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Dorman.
On the blind side, you talk about going to the head and neck area, but you can't go low either.
I think that's true. I think you're right. I think that's what's missing here.
Well, the other thing is, a blindside block doesn't just have to be on a punt return or reception. You see
That's
a lot
the
of
other
times,
thing.
like, you get somebody trying to turn the corner out near the sideline, and somebody's pursuing them, and a wide receiver comes in and blocks them like that.
That's the one you're going to get. And
Run a reverse.
those are the two that are missing from there. Yeah, that ear hole shot isn't, especially on a wide out coming back and getting that defensive end or linebacker. Fowler numbers, geez whiz. These will get you in trouble. Make sure if you don't know the number, don't make it up, because invariably you're going to be wrong. Better to have no number. Trust me, you'll get the look from the referee when I don't know the number. You know, that look like, I'm not going on the mic now. Help the calling official. I remember when I was a rookie, and I had a face mask. Everybody in the country saw it, but nobody helped me with the number. And I was a line judge, and from the far side judge came over. Somehow, as a veteran, he came over. He goes, "You need a number, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "It was 14 or something." I was like, "Holy cow!" That guy came all the way across 50 yards to help. He knew. That was a veteran that just knew. I was a rookie and I didn't know what the heck what I was doing. He came over and saved the day. So do that you may know, and then you go on the mic and say, he announces it and they don't have a number and go, "Well, hell, I knew it. I could have helped." Get involved if you know. Or correct the number if you do get it, if you announce it wrong. So TV doesn't go on a wild goose chase with it. If they thought, you say 79 and then there's no 79 in the game, then you come back and say 78. That makes everybody look better. And the line judge helped the referee if there's 2 fouls. Do you get help from somebody if you have 2 numbers?
Gotta have somebody around.
Yeah. I don't know the best way to do it.
I like it when my short wing is standing about right there. And if I look up like a deer in the headlights, like I have no idea what number I'm going to say next. I want them to say 36.
Right. Yeah, L's, it's usually your line judge, right?
For a half.
So it depends. It's the L or
For
the
a
H.
half, right.
Yeah.
Right, for a half. Oh, these new things. Ineligible downfield or not? I guess we're going with 3. We're back to 3 yards for this year again. I think we better be aware of this because I think teams are going to say, well, there's something in the rule book I need to take advantage of. So they may be sending their line downfield. Just some teams are getting away with it, and so I think. And then the other ones, ineligible downfield, just things in the mind. We won't have ineligibles downfield on a screen pass, incomplete. Just right. We just let that go. But towards an eligible receiver, towards an eligible, it legally goes out of bounds. No foul if it goes out of bounds. Yeah, we don't want to get too crazy with that one.
So is he an ineligible downfield when the pass is thrown or when the ball crosses the line of scrimmage?
Good question.
When it leaves his hand.
So it's when the pass is thrown, it's not when it crosses the line. That's the difference between Federation and college. It's when he releases. It's the same?
When a pass that crosses the line of scrimmage leaves the passer's hand.
Exactly.
Well, it's a foul at that moment, but it doesn't matter. But like the ball has to cross the line for it to become a foul.
Right, but you got an idea. You got to know where the linemen are when the ball leaves the passer's hand.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure.
But if it never crosses the line, you don't have a foul.
Right.
Correct.
That's a good question.
And if it's close, it didn't cross.
Oh yeah.
It did or did not cross?
Did not.
Did not. Don't get out there with your micrometer and look for nanometers to see whether it's over.
Don't you want it to be over? Oh, I'm thinking of
No.
a different play. Okay.
Is that a ring?
No, I'm thinking of a different scenario. Okay. There's something else I wanted to talk about on this thing. Whose call is it?
Which one?
On this,
Over the line of scrimmage or not?
yeah, ineligibles downfield.
Short one.
Usually the line judge, at least in our conference. Umpire can get it on scenarios that they go past him, interior linemen go past him. But on pass
They seem to
plays,
get it wrong more, they throw more flags when they shouldn't, I think, because they spin when the ball's going past them, and that's when they see the lineman downfield, and they don't have as good of an idea where the lineman actually was when the ball came out of his hand.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
the line made that pass, so they passed the umpire. They didn't have field.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a game 2 years ago where my umpire 3 times called ineligible downfield, and on film, none of them were there. I think his perception is skewed because he doesn't know where they are when the ball leaves the hand. Because that's not where he's looking. The ball's up, and all of a sudden he's by me. Well, it's because he's now drifted a couple of yards. So the short wing has the look, and it should be their call. Of course, there are times where the umpire steps up, and whether it's goal line coming in, goal line coming out, where he may have to take that. But generally, the umpire does not have as good of a look.
Yeah, I personal experience. I'm not batting very good with these guys. I think I've got 1 out of 4 or 5 right. It's the perception is you see the guy down there, but the ball you didn't see when the ball. You can't see everything. You can't see a quarterback. You can't see this guy at the same time. And by the time you look, it's hard to get. It's got to be totally obvious. Like the quarterback scrambling around, that guy's in the end zone, standing around like, oh, I missed one. I'm watching the play. Yeah. And then we were at the clinic, and the Big Ten guy said, yeah, they got like that was the most no call or incorrect calls they had was on ineligibles downfield. This guy's just it's not there. Okay, this is a good one. This is one I've seen made some mistakes on. OPI DPI communication to the referee. Short and deep wings. So we have a pass complete, and it's 20 yards downfield, and we have pass interference on the defense, and the pass is complete. So who's the deep guy? Mike, how are you going to communicate that to Jeff that you have a flag for defensive pass interference and you have a catch, and you probably will you be far enough ahead to know that they're going to decline this?
Yeah.
Now, how do you communicate that to him? Because he has no idea what you got.
I'll wait for him, because he's gonna come down there anyway, so he knows we already have defensive pass interference. When he gets to me, I say, the result of the play was a catch at the spot. It's a first down, so they're gonna decline the penalty, and the number was whatever.
Right, but what if you don't get to talk to him? I mean, say he's back there
If
with
he
the
stays way
quarterback,
back.
and you're 20 yards down, you're probably
I'll start running.
30 yards away.
Yeah.
If it's 20 yards down, I'm coming down the spot. Now you're coming out, boom, and you're going this way. And your phone's going off. Yeah, we had a whole cluster with this one, because then he said decline it, and this meant like it was incomplete to the referee. Just a little thing like this threw a wrench in the whole thing. And the referee was not very happy about it. It wasn't a good scene. But anyway, so simple like that. What if you have OPI? What do you do in that scenario?
Then I go, if it's on my key, I go trucking towards Jeff.
Just point the scope this way and go back. So,
On the defensive pass interference, 20 yards downfield, you gotta be aware of the down and distance. If that was beyond, it was 3rd and 25, and they may wanna take the 15-yard penalty, okay, and get an automatic first down, as opposed to taking the 20-yard gain.
Oh.
It's now 4th and 5.
good point.
Okay, so don't go rushing in
Yeah.
there and
Yeah.
think that automatically they want to accept this penalty or decline this
Absolutely.
penalty. You gotta know the down and distance when that occurred.
The thing that Mike brought up is very important. As a referee, I have no idea what happened downfield. I don't know that it was a catch. So starting with, we have a catch. that means the world because I have no idea. Usually I judge by crowd reaction, or I can maybe sometimes use the PA guy, but I really don't know catch, incomplete, interception. I don't know what's happened downfield. So you start with telling me what we had, what was the result of the play. Now you can get into the foul.
Yeah, and you really don't learn these things until you absolutely screw up something and make everybody look like fools. But and now we got the personal foul tax on, right? If we had a face mask as the DPI, they get both, right?
Not as the DPI.
Not as.
No, if there was DPI and then he caught it anyway and then he tackled him by the face mask.
You can now, as of
Tack
last year,
that on.
tack on personal fouls on passing plays. So the completed catch, 18-yard catch, they can now tack on the 15 to the end of it.
Okay, but what if the personal foul was the interference as well?
It's one foul.
It's just one foul. That must be other league. All right. But if you have a personal foul, you can tack it on to the completed pass, end of the run. Right? Okay, OPI beyond 1 yard. Foul has to be 1 yard beyond the line of scrimmage for OPI and DPI, right? And the pass has to be beyond the line of scrimmage. Well, we're using the 1 yard as a buffer zone. By philosophy, but by rule, it's the neutral zone. But by philosophy, we always give them the extra space. Yeah. You had a question? No.
I think if a wideout comes and grabs his guy and throws him down right at the line of scrimmage, you are going to have that. It's a little different there. I mean, he's gained a huge advantage by that contact, even if it was right at the line of scrimmage.
Right. Now we're looking at the pick thing, where it comes down. Give him that 1 yard zone there. And who has to know whether the ball crosses the line of scrimmage or not? That 1 yard belt. Line judge has that. Personal experience here again. Everything happens on the other side of the field. I have, we have OPI, and the foul is right at the line of scrimmage, and the ball is right at. The ball went beyond, but the foul was at the line of scrimmage. No, the ball was at the line of scrimmage too. So all three was right at the line of scrimmage. So they picked up the flag. Well, later to learn that they both were beyond the line of scrimmage. Unfortunately, I didn't do anything because I really didn't know what they had. But lesson learned, I got to get my butt over there and find out what they had. And it's a pass play. It's near the line of scrimmage. You got to assume you need to get involved. I didn't get involved, but I needed to. So even though the play is not on your side, if you have an obligation to know where that ball lands, or you could decide this thing. Actually, I didn't even know they had pass interference until it was over. But
play like that, are we calling? Is that pass interference? Right at the line?
no,
We're not
we
gonna
picked
call
the
it pass
flag up.
interference, right?
Yeah, we picked the flag up. But film showed it was like 2 yards downfield, and the ball did go 2 yards.
Wouldn't you have holdings then?
No, I think it was a pick. I think he called a pick. OPI.
Potentially, yeah.
I mean, like in Jeff's example, grab them and control that.
Right.
Right, I mean, that's that you got hold.
Got that. Punt blocking is, I think whenever I get dinged, I made up a slide. This is more for deep guys. This isn't the play. This isn't the slide I made up for the ding. But I still don't understand how you have this receivers being blocked passive or non-passive. What does do deep guys know? Give me an example.
And it hit you, that's on you.
Normal football, I guess.
There
Yeah,
was,
no.
we had a really bad one in my game 2 years ago. And my back judge was all over it. It was like there were 6 players from the kicking team all like around the ball waiting for it to stop rolling. And for some reason, one guy on the receiving team was there with them. And one guy from the kicking team literally just pushed the guy in the back into the ball. I mean, it was just so big. It was so
Okay.
big, and so we said it got blocked.
Yeah, it got blocked.
Yeah, they're gonna get up and dance and say, we got the ball,
Right.
he touched
I mean,
it.
it was that big. It was
Okay.
like
Did you have the block in the back?
Alright. This is this is one of Terry's things. You don't have any UNR offsets. The only time you can get the one that happens first, the only way you can have an offset if the second act, and this you have to get from your supervisor what they want. Second act is to the head or worse than the first act. So a little judgment there, but try not to offset these UNRs. Try to get the guy that started it. Got something, Mike?
I just have a question. Like now that we have a UNS that we can enforce live ball, would that offset? Could that offset like a holding foul? Because I mean it's live ball.
You mean this? So
Yeah, what?
A guy dances into the end zone, and you got a hold on the line on the defense.
Yeah, but that's not,
Well,
this was
well, so,
talking
okay,
about,
so-
you have one unnecessary roughness followed by a second one. You get the guy that instigated it,
Right.
you don't penalize the second guy, is
Right.
what he's saying, don't offset.
Right.
You're talking about two different situations.
I changed the topic to UNS.
Okay, so this is still after the play, but we call it UNS.
Well, no, so like if you, like either a celebration type thing or a taunting type thing that happens while the ball is live. You know what I'm
Live
talking
ball
about?
penalized as dead ball.
There you go.
Is it only the
That's a
celebration?
foul.
Is it only a celebration that's a UNS is a live ball? Like, you know, like if he starts dancing 10
At
yards
the
before
five,
ends.
five of the
Yeah.
10-yard line, you're not gonna count the score, and then you're
Right.
gonna go to the 5 or 10 and move it back 15, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying, so it's a live ball. Can that be offset by,
Another live
Yeah,
ball
two
foul.
live ball fouls.
Sure. Yeah, defensive pass interference. He got it, dancing in the end zone. That's the question.
right, sure, so we
And
go
they're
back
offset,
to,
they're
go back to the
offset, but
previous
he
talk
still
with that?
gets his UNS.
He still gets his UNS from
As
the
a
record,
first,
right.
but we're
He's halfway
replaying
home.
that down,
You're
right?
gonna replay it down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
The
rough.
foul's offset, this is his first penalty for unsportsmanlike.
That's rough.
For your get the first guy, I guess this is probably like a supervisor by supervisor thing, with the UNS for something that's well after the ball, the play ends, there is to a certain extent an offsetting in that both players then have a UNS hung on them for getting
For being,
protected.
yeah.
So I could see an argument for wanting to get them both even if they offset.
If someone is if he's being an idiot about it, do both. But the main thing is, if you tell someone that the reason, and you tell the offending player, but ref, he did something, you started it.
Right.
It's no different than that parent-child relationship. If you didn't start what you did, he wouldn't have did what he did to you. So I don't want to hear about what he did to you because you did it to him first, so go away.
And let the coach know, that happened to
Right.
us. Zach remembers, he remembers, Danny remembers, when we had Coppin State at Maryland Eastern Shore in that conference championship. Okay? A kid from Coppin, after a punt, okay? Kid from Coppin State, everybody's around a ball, somebody comes in, cleans somebody's clock. Okay? The other team didn't like it, we had this scuffle, okay? But I went to the Coppin State coach and said, I'm only gonna penalize your player because he started it. He goes, well, they all tried to get into the fight. I said, I don't care. If your player had not started it, let other situation never would have developed. We're penalizing your guy, we're moving on. And that's the whole point. You saw who started that whole ruckus, okay? The rest of it, Robert's absolutely right. The other action wasn't ever gonna happen had that first action not taken place. So you're doing the first guy a favor by offsetting it, if you think about it. Because now it's, haha, you guys are getting penalized too. Well, then somebody else is gonna do it because they know, really no harm, no foul. If you're just gonna offset them, I'm gonna whack the guy next time.
And be consistent the next time it happens. We don't like to mix officiating philosophies, but sometimes it works. In hockey, you always can have an instigator foul. Now, you might have offsetting 5-minute majors or 10-minute misconducts, but somebody started it, and he gets the extra 2, and somebody goes on the power play.
That's right.
Well, we want to get the instigator and give them the 15 yards. There are occasions where you might have a couple of other offsetting fouls, but somebody should get the 15.
That's all. That's great. Taunting, obviously, stepping over a player and doing this waving stuff. If you get in somebody's face, dancing, the sleep thing, the throat slash.
Sleep thing? What's the sleep thing? Okay.
Sometimes I had to literally write these down because I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that. That's why I put this together for myself. Game clock on a kickoff. Let me know if I got any of these wrong. Fair catch. We don't take any time off. Receiver catches, goes to the ground real quick. Receiver catches it on the ground. Kickers legally recover. We'll take 1 second off the game clock. Those sound right? I forget those all the time. I literally write those on my card. Because when I have the game clock, I don't want to screw that up late in the game. Goal line, 7-yard, the 11-yard awareness thing. Try not to spot the ball on the 10.5. Either put it on the 10 or the 11. Try to keep it clean down there near the goal line. Try to get rid of those chains if you can. Put it on the 10-yard line. Have a 1st and goal. Communicate. And you have to know whether if you're taking it to the. I've been to a lot of different places, and some guys, the F and S take it from the 1. Some places they take it from the 2 to the goal line. It doesn't matter as long as the 2 of you are on the same page. Just make sure you're aware of that. Timeout awareness. Keep track of replay timeouts. Timeouts at the end of the half. Communicate. The last thing you want to do. I've been in a game where we've given a 4th timeout, and there's nothing worse than that. And it happens so fast that you're just like, oh. As soon as the timeout's given you, somebody on the crew knew it. And it's very unfortunate to give a team a timeout, especially when they're driving to make a score, and you give them that extra time. There's nothing you can do about it. So what we do is we yell at each other, at least I yell at everybody on the crew that, White is out of timeouts. They are out of timeouts. Do not every single play until that half is over, we're yelling no timeouts for White or for Blue or whoever it is. Penalty enforcement, injuries, UNS, all this game administration is a 7 or 8 guy mechanic. Everyone has to be involved. Everybody has to write. Something we do on our crew, the injured players, we write them down, and at halftime we check to see who's got them on their cards. We literally go around and say who's got 24 was injured and out on their cards. So something you might want to do with your crew, it's a little fun. Say who do we have injuries on at halftime. And we do the same thing at the end of the game. And UNS's too. We're all responsible, so nobody gets free pass on that. Player trying to get out of bounds. This is the hardest thing I have. It's really tough. Clock under a minute. You got to know your timeouts. You got to know the score. You got to know game situation. The last minute is so critical. The last 2 minutes. You You gotta know where the front stake for stopping the clock or not stopping the clock. Sure enough, every year we have a couple games where the end of the half or whatever, do we give them the first down or don't give them? We don't want to measure. We're not going to measure. We're not going to stop the game and pull the chains in to give the team a timeout. We're going to make a decision. Either he makes the first down or he doesn't, and we're living with it. We're rolling. Judgment on being driven back, when do you kill it or not, trying to get out of bounds. You know, if he's hit and he's giving up ground to get out of bounds, you can stop the clock. I mean, they say it's okay to stop the clock and give them that out of bounds spot back here. The game, we officiate the game, unfortunately, different. They want us to, it's not me, but they want us to officiate the game a little bit different at the end. It's being clock aware. 10-second runoff. I don't know how, this is a crew mechanic. We talk about it every pregame in ours. Who's doing what? You gotta know which team. If Robert's team is going to has the option of taking the 10-second runoff, they didn't foul, so somebody has to go to that team and find out if they want it before we go to this team to find out if they want to take the timeout. So we actually act that out in our pre-games. All right, so we have a foul on this team. Does that team want it? If they do, they got to go to this team. They want to take a timeout or not, and all that happened really quickly. I was fortunate to be on a crew with Jonah, and Jonah had 10-second run. He was back to it. He'd come running in, and he knew it all. He'd go, 10-second run, Jonah gets all excited, and he's like, I'm gonna run over here and see if they want it. He comes back over, do they want to take a time? And it's like, he just took total control of that whole scenario, because he just owned it. He's like, he recognized it, he knew exactly what to do, and that's the standard, like, go. So, anyway.
Which was the opposite of my experience at halftime, whereas the referee, the bulb came on late, and I had to run all the way across the field and say, oh, by the way, do you want the runoff? And then run all the way back over and say, now, do you want to take the timeout to avoid the runoff? And we all ended up at halftime when all was said and done, after we had the runoff and the clock started, because we were at 33 seconds, and then we went down, and so.
It's an odd feeling that you have one and you're like, oh, wait, I have it. The clock was running and we have this scenario, and it was a false start, and we have it, let's do it. But then you got to think, well, who's winning, who's losing, does he really want it? And if he wants, does he have a timeout left? So there's just, I don't know how we do it. You have to practice it almost to be efficient at it. We're having a lot of them.
Hey, Todd,
yeah.
There's hell to pay when you ask the coach and he doesn't know what you want, what you mean.
Yeah.
As in Newport News and Coast Guard, or Merchant Marine Academy. We were down there, and we had a situation. So we said, go ask the coach if he wants to take the 10. They went over, and the coach didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so that took forever, and then we had to get to the other side because they had timeouts left. Do you want to take it? And it probably took us well over a minute.
Yeah.
Probably a minute and a half to find out if they want a 10-second run off the clock. And it looked like a goat rope.
Yep.
And of course our supervisor was there.
Yeah.
And wanted to know what took so long. Because we couldn't get an answer from the coach.
Yeah.
Because they're not really mentally prepared for that either. So now you say, hey coach, I got a foul on them, you want a 10-second runoff. And it was like, what does that mean?
Did you have to handle it?
And they do, and a lot of coaches are now on the headset like, we can get a 10-second runoff. Do we want to take that, or do we, they make decisions by committee.
Yeah.
It's like, well.
Yeah. As opposed to if you're not knocking them, but their game awareness should be what ours is, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And so, they should know that if it's less than a minute and they get a chance and they're behind, and the other team's going in to score, they should be taking time off of that clock. But
there are NFL coaches that get millions of dollars and they don't understand time management. I don't expect Division III.
So
I think
that's what our problem was. We knew what to do, But we couldn't get answers from the people that are supposed to say, yes, I want it, or no, I don't want it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I'm with you with coaches that don't really know, but we need to know. We need to, and hopefully your wing guys know, so you don't have to get involved. You should just be able to, or have a Jonah on your crew that runs back and forth. He can figure it out.
And I'll also say deep wings too. I know we always talk about the short wing, but deep wings can get involved, particularly if we're coming out. And so now the deep wing is closer to the coach than the short wing. So the deep wing can, so don't fall asleep. Same thing on those scenarios about kicks out of bounds and getting with the coaches and figuring out what his options are. Nearest official, get the answer.
And
Don't
the
wait.
deep wings, if the short wing has the penalty, it really helps if the deep wing takes over with the clock runoff. Because if I've got the penalty,
Yeah, you're fried.
I'm not thinking about clock situations and communicating that with the coach. I'm coming in with the information on the foul.
That's why you got a crew. Yeah, you're fried. You gotta have somebody come.
And I know the clock is everybody's responsibility, but, I mean, and it's great that Jonah came in, but it really should be the side judge. The side judge should,
Nowadays, yeah.
should definitely know whether the clock was running when that foul was committed.
All 7 of you should know.
I said it's
I know.
everybody's, but
Do you guys
he's
do any?
got that.
I'll give you. Do you guys do any signals
Yeah, we do.
for 1 minute?
We
What-
automatically say, there's a potential. to
Okay.
something wrong.
Any other signals? Anybody other
We
crews?
did the same thing. Under
Well,
one.
keep
Under one?
in mind, that some of those D2 and our high school fields that we get for some of the club games, and our D3, there's only one clock. And it's always gonna be behind the officials when it's going. And we got the one clock down there that's got lights half out on the 25-40 play clock.
If you have one.
So it's easy to say who's responsible in the manual, but we have to get it on the field based on the circumstances that are presented.
One thing, I mean, I worked with Jonah. He was our referee on a few games, and we're both sort of anal, but we do this. Under 10, we're just under a minute, and the clock's, because we know under a minute, we've got that. We're good, we'll give you that one. But if the clock's running and we're 10 seconds, we're doing this as they're lining up, because we're just like, they do something now, we got it. We got one. We're literally doing stuff like this. We're like, he's looking at me, and I'm going, yeah.
Let's throw another scenario. If you start with 7. Notice I said you start with 7. You don't finish with 7. Now somebody's hurt and we get moved out of positions. So now who's going to do what? Oh, yeah, light bulb comes on now, right?
I was like, what?
So the side judge got hurt?
If the umpire got hurt and somebody moved into umpire, they're out of the game completely. Okay? They're just thinking survival. Yeah, now you got a 5.
All right, now we're talking 10-second runoffs. We have the scenarios there. We have the helmet off, the injury, prevent a runoff. You can take a timeout. The player, if the player wants to stay in, he can stay. Well, these are really confusing me right now. I'll have to reread that stuff tonight. The Arena League's got all kinds of goofy stuff on that. All right, this is the one I want to show a film. Do we have time to show a short film? You're probably tired of hearing me ramble about that. All right. But I suggest you guys keep a diary, keep a record of things that happen to you or your crew, and look it over it every once in a while. And that's what this was. It was scenarios that came up and we just screwed up. Let's see here. Where was that? It was in this file.
as Todd cues up his film, particularly for those of you in the ECFOA who have your crews already announced.
Okay, training video for week 14. We are down to our
Now is
last
the
two
time
regular
to start some
season
of
weeks,
those
and I should stress that
conversations.
this is rivalry week. The games this week will be
Whether it's
extremely
your tandem
intense from beginning to
partners,
end,
your
so from the
whole
moment you
group,
step out on the
work
field
on some of those
until the
little
game is over, you
scenarios,
have to have a presence
go
and let
further
them know that
into
any
the
action that
playbook
crosses the line will be penalized.
that you would
Pre-game
normally
warm-ups
get
are crucial to
in the
letting them know
season.
from the outset that you are
Don't
taking
wait
care of business.
until your scrimmages. Don't wait till after the test and you go to Milk School first part of August. Utilize the time you have now to talk about some of these strange scenarios. You'll find that the season will be a whole lot easier for you later on.
How much time you have? I just don't, I can do 5 minutes or
We can,
25 minutes.
You got 20 minutes? You want another half an hour or so?
Well, this is a half-hour film. We can see what.
So do not relax
You
during
guys
that
seen this
period.
probably or not?
Once the game starts, set the tone early. Do not an early game taunt. Don't over officiate, but taunting must not be tolerated. When the actions are borderline, just make sure that they know you saw it and let them know that they are on the edge. Okay, and looking at last week, we had a fairly significant increase in incorrect calls. This is kind of disturbing because normally this time of year we really see very few of those. Make sure that when you throw a flag, there has been an obvious violation of our rules and guidelines. All right, let's get right to those plays that we need to look at. Okay, first play, similar to a play we showed last week. We're going to watch the center, and he's going to get out, and he's going to grab the linebacker just as the running back goes by. And we come back and look at it, and it may open up right here to the linesman. He may be caught up over here looking this way. We'll look at the end zone, and I think the umpire, since it is the center, we want to, I know we stay behind the play, but we've got to get out a little bit more, I think. And we're probably watching this action right here, which I'm okay with no call there. It's a little bit of a grab, but I don't think it's enough. But certainly, you know, let's maybe try to get here. I know it's the point of attack, and I know we want to stay on the back side. But certainly with both the guard and the center getting out like that, let's get our umpires looking a little bit more in this area and not staying so far back here. Next play, we're going to watch at the bottom of the screen, right here, grasp and restrict. The referee is going to get out here at the point of attack, and nice call. Clearly a grab, clearly material restriction as the running back goes right by. See a good end zone look at it.
Can we stop this?
Just hit spacebar.
Nice.
Yeah, that's me there at the bottom, or over there, stopping the clock. Look at me stop the clock. How about that? I passed on this. You know what this was? This is basketball officiating. The score was 30 whatever. We had like, shouldn't be this way, but we had like 12 fouls against South Florida. This is like their second team in, and we get this call. I almost wanted to go tell him pick it up, but you know, he gets a credit.
Grab and restrict right at the point of attack. Good job by the referee
I think you got the
getting
game winner.
there.
You know, it's
All right, so
call,
we've got formations.
but-
We got a double-double. We got a single back right here. We know the line judge has the single back right here. Stay with your key. You're going to be going into the backfield with him, helping out with the left tackle, who is certainly not really threatened right here. But we see what happens. It's going to be a takedown right there. And the referee does a nice job picking this up. Really nothing else to look at. Big takedown in the offensive backfield. Line judge, stay with your key. That's your guy. Single back, you're always going to have him. I shouldn't say always going to have him. Certainly if you have trips to your side, you won't have him. But in a double-double, you will always have him. Slot at the top. Nice job by the linesman on this play. Takedown. Boy, I tell you what, this is about as big a takedown as you get by a slot.
This is the same game. We had like
It's beat.
18 of these.
Takes him right down. Linesman not watching the runner. Good call for offensive holding. Targeting, we can't miss these. You know, I've got a lot of looks at this. This is a clear targeting foul, no question about it. Misplay, the defender goes down. Helmet to helmet, shoulder to helmet. Back judge has got the best look at this one. Really, we should have 3 people looking at this right here. Okay, and here's the TV of the same play. Defender clearly lowers his head, make contact to the head and neck area of a defenseless player. This is a foul. Make sure we get these. Do not want to see these missed. Somewhat similar play over the middle. We did get this one. Unfortunately, replay for inconceivably reversed this one. Goes upward, shoulder to the helmet of a defenseless player, clearly injured. We get several flags on this one. Nice job by all our officials that made this call. Certainly the back judge, I think, might be the only one that wasn't. I know we came in here. I believe we came in here, and I think we came in here. So back judges, these plays over the middle, you've got to get these. Here's the TV. And you'll see why we're really surprised that replay reversed this one. Clearly contact. And remember, replay can only make a determination that there was no contact to the head or neck area. That one's certainly can't tell from that shot right there. Goes up to the head, shoulder to the head. And I think this is our best shot that clearly shows initiating contact, shoulder to the head of a defenseless player. This is a foul and should not have been reversed. Play I just happened to see, we're going to watch the right guard on this play. We don't see this very often. We saw it a few years ago, but I'm showing this just in case somebody decides to bring this up. This is a blow to the head. This is a blow to the head. If he swings that arm around, hits him in the head, hits him in the back, if he swings it, that is a foul. Now, certainly he can come around and push the defender to the ground, but he can't do that. It's a blow to the head, and that is a foul we would want called. Another blow to the head here at the bottom of the screen. We know we're not going to get, the play's going to go this way, and we're not going to get too concerned about just a hands to the face that throws the receiver off his route. But this is a blow to the head, and it's unnecessary roughness, personal foul, and it's called, may even be an FMN. Nice job by the field judge picking that one up. We saw a play like this several weeks ago. This is a clothesline. You know, if he can happen to get into the chest, that's fine. If he comes into the head or neck area with force like this, even though he's not a defensive player, this is not a targeting foul, but it's a clothesline. It's an unnecessary roughness. It's a personal foul that we do want called.
I don't like clotheslines in the book.
No, it's not.
Tackle. We've been doing a pretty good job on this one. We missed this one. He is going to get into the collar right there. He's going to jerk him right down. This is a horse collar tackle. See a good look at it on the end zone. See, he's in the collar. He's inside the collar right there. There's that motion, the feet coming around, jerking him right to the ground. Pull down. Make sure we have a pull down. It's got to be an immediate, not immediate, but it's got to be a pull down and inside the collar. This is a horse collar tackle, but it's legal because the quarterback is in the tackle box. You know, we have one hand maybe in the front, but certainly the second hand's in the back. But this is in the tackle box. This is not a foul. We call it and correctly pick it up. Nice job by the crew on this play. Here's the end zone. Anywhere outside the tackle box. Here's something I don't think we've ever seen before. We're going to watch what number 33, the linebacker, does to the quarterback. He's just going to kick him. He kicks out, kind of a, I don't know, kung fu, whatever this is, but this is a foul. This is unnecessary roughness. It's a kicking foul. We wouldn't disqualify because I guess he's kicking at the football. I don't find this to be an intentional act to punish an opponent, but certainly it is a foul for kicking an opponent, and we do want this called. And you know, flopping seems to be the thing of the day. Players were getting more and more of it, unfortunately. I don't know if we'll look at that in the off season or not. But we're going to watch number 49 right here. Hollywood, this is as bad as it gets, and we didn't fall for it. You know, this is really good. You know, we may or may not have seen this. As I talked about last week, we have to see the whole play to call a foul, and it's good we didn't, because this is Academy Award material on that one. And a great job by, I believe, side judge, linesman, and referee. I think they all got this one. We're going to watch L3 right here. Low block. Goes right into the two-man wedge. Low. Hits him right on the knee. And we get quite a few flags down. Terrific call by the crew. See the end zone. Make sure if we have a low block, that's a personal foul. We precede that with the personal foul signal. All personal fouls, we should have the personal foul signal. Great job. Okay, we have our right tackle right here, and we're going to call him for a low block, and it is a low crackback. Now, this is clearly in the front. This is in the 10-2. And it is a crackback, but he's unrestricted at the snap, so it is legal for number 54 to do this. This is not a foul, but unfortunately we had called that. We've got to understand the rules. We've got to understand where the players come from. Certainly, had he been a restricted player at the snap, that would be a foul, but it is not. It is not a foul in this case. Nice job by the linesman. We've got a stack up here, so we've got both the linesman and...
Tyler, I think we got a question.
Yeah, what if the ball left the zone?
Yeah, because even if he's unrestricted, once the ball has left the zone, you can't.
Still 10-2.
No.
You can go 10-2.
All right.
Did it go?
Yeah, sorry.
and the side judge on these players right here, and we get a quick shot to the face by the corner. There it is. You can see, good look at the shot to the face. Linesman picks it up. Side judge, make sure we get in a position to see that. Your man until they declare, and as they declare, that's going to end up being the side judge's man right here, because he goes vertical, and we get the second man going into flat. Great job by the linesman on that play. Very unusual chop block. We missed this one, and it's kind of understandable. It's going to be the guard here and the running back, and it's clearly a chop block. But what happens is the quarterback throws the ball before the chop occurs. So what's going to happen is our line judge, who this belongs to the line judge, he's going to go with the pass. If you sense this threat, you know, certainly this is setting up as a potential chop block. Stay with that threat. Don't be so quick to go to the football over here. I know that's kind of the mechanic, all eyes to the ball. But when you've got a threat, recognize this right here and stay there just a little bit longer
Why is he going
to make sure
pass
that's
there so quick? Maybe. So I think it's because we got cross-field mechanics possibly, and we got a front stake there. I'm just thinking out loud, but I can see why he left.
legal, because that is a chop block, regardless of whether the pass is thrown or not. It is a foul. Interesting play here. We called defense face mask, but it's really both. We've seen a couple of these this year, offensive face mask, and there it is. See the offense in the helmet in the face right here, the defense in the helmet right here. I think both of our officials here got caught up in what the defender was doing, and we missed what the offensive player was doing. This is an offset for on both players. Be alert, because offensive players,
I don't think I've
they can
ever seen
stiff arm,
a
but they
face mask called
cannot
on
grab
the
and control and
offense
twist
and
the
defense at
face
the same
mask.
time.
All right, DPI.
Interesting
A
concept.
lot of interesting plays with catchable versus uncatchable this year. We're going to get early contact right here. The ball's going to land slightly out of bounds. This is a foul. Nice job by the field judge and the line judge. And this is catchable. Obviously, it's catchable. It's barely in the white, just beyond the receiver. This is a catchable pass. It is not blatantly uncatchable. Clearly defensive pass interference. This play, you know, it's interesting. The ball is over the is well over the receiver, but we get this early grab. We're looking down here at the bottom. Get that early grab where the receiver's jerked down. You can see it. That's just unnatural. He's clearly jerked down, and we call that. And the ball lands, you know, a few yards beyond the receiver and somewhat out of bounds, but not far enough. This is a correct call. This is not blatantly catchable. We'll kind of see on the end zone where the ball lands. You know, it's in the white, about halfway in the white. It's not looped over like this. It's kind of thrown on a rope. So this is a foul. Early contact, early restriction keeps certainly the receiver from being in the area where the ball comes down. Not blatantly uncatchable. Good job by the field judge on that play. This is blatantly uncatchable, and we get DPI. We don't call it. You know, there's a restriction right there. We don't call this, but we also don't give a signal. We need to do this because it's clearly a foul. This is enough for a foul for defensive pass interference. The ball lands well beyond the goal here, and just make sure we get the signal of uncatchable right here on this type of play.
The end here because I want you guys to see this.
Defensive area, and there is no foul.
You should see this end of the game.
Great sell. We don't have to go to replay. We not wind the clock. If it happens, wind the 8 to 30 with the offense is down by 8, so they've got 8. Great sell. We don't have to go to replay. We get it right. Great job.
Time management.
Here we see. Certainly from the back judge's perspective, we understand he doesn't see it hit the ground. He's going to stop the clock. And now here we already see the side judge coming in. We know the linesman's coming in. Terrific officiating. There he is right there.
All right, here's 1 minute in the fourth quarter.
On this play, we get, let's look at the score. We had some issues in the last drive. You know, we're 38 to 30 with the offense is down by 8, so they've got to score a touchdown. We've got a minute to go. We've got to be accurate on our clock. Our clock is crucial. So we're gonna rule this tackle inbounds initially. You know, we do it very good. We're fine. We'd like to have a wind here, but we don't. Now we decide after the fact that he was out of bounds. Go with your first instincts, guys. This is a player that's tackled inbounds. Your first instinct is correct. Don't change your mind. Don't change your mind on this one because we're going to come here. Here's the replay, and he's trying to get out of bounds. And certainly, if it's bang bang with the forearm down and the ball going out of bounds, we can understand that. But the forearm is down a yard inbounds, and then he reaches the ball out and eventually gets it out of bounds. This is a wind, regardless of when it happens in the game. This is always a wind. We know we're going to err, or we're going to make it close if it's bang bang if he's trying to get out. But this is not. If the knee, the arm, whatever goes down, the butt goes down, clearly in bounds, we're going to wind the clock if it happens before the ball gets out of bounds. And here's the toughest play. One of the toughest plays we've really ever had. 20 seconds to go. Now set it up here. We're 3rd and 10, which is a critical part of this action. It's 3rd down, and the ball is snapped with the nose of the ball on the 12. So the nose of the ball has to get to the 2. Has to get to the 2. So we get this play, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. There really are no replays that tell us one way or another, and maybe he's short, maybe he's not. Here's how we have to handle the play. You know, we see there's 14 seconds on the clock when he's down. So we know there's plenty of the time for the offense to get a play off. They're going to get a play off. But what has to happen, and I'm going to let it run, the line judge is going to be coming in. He knows it's close. We do not have time. We're now down to 10. The referee has no time to come in and make a determination on whether we're going to measure, whether it's a first, what we're going to do on this play. The line judge, in this case, if it were the other side of the screen, it would be the linesman, has to make this decision immediately. He's got to either stop the clock, put the ball down for a first down, or he's got to put the ball short and tell the referee it's fourth down. Because if it's when it's fourth down, he only gets one play. He's going to have to run one play. There's no spike. There's no time to do anything else. There's one play. If we make it a first, fine. If it is a first, stop the clock. Then it was what was it, about 14 seconds? We probably got stopped with 12 or 13. That'd have been fine too. What we can't do is this. Fourth down. We're now down to 7, and we have 3 officials over the football as the offense needs to snap it. The clock is running here. Our referee is now in a world of hurt. What do we do on this play? Because there's no way these officials are going to get back into position and the ball is going to be able to be snapped in 7 seconds. So the referee comes in, and I'll tell you what, this is probably as good a judgment as we possibly could have made at this point. If we rule it short at this point and let the clock run out, we're in trouble. If we measure and he's short, we're probably in trouble again. But certainly this is a pretty good decision on this play. Stop the clock, give them a first down. We don't know whether it is or not. Close enough. They're going to get the play off that they would have gotten anyway had it stayed third down. Had it gone to fourth down and we made it short. Very difficult. The key to this is linesman, line judge, in these very crucial, time-sensitive situations, you make this decision. Certainly if we're under 10 seconds, you've got to make this decision. Under 20 seconds, you've got to make the decision for the referee, and we'll live with it. We'll live with this play. Now, one other thing, if this is fourth down, we have no problem at all. If it's close, we can stop the clock on fourth down. If it's this close, because if we stop the clock for a measurement and he's is short, then the defense gets the ball, everybody's okay. If it's a first down, great. No problem there either, because we'd have stopped the clock anyway for a first down. They're still going to get their time on the clock. So fourth down, we'd have been in a much better situation. Third down was the worst possible scenario, the toughest possible scenario. But certainly going forward, linesman, line judge make that decision. And here we see the team barely get the play off. And this is the last play. And our side judge, this is kind of part of our mechanics. Great job officiating this play to the end. Great move, positioning. There's certainly no foul here. I got a good replay of this, a couple good replays of terrific mechanics. No foul. Stays with the ball. Really absolutely terrific mechanics on the game, on the potential game tying play where they did make the 2-point conversion, and Navy did end up winning in, I believe, triple overtime. It's a lot to talk about with your crews on that. Very, very difficult circumstances.
All right, guys. Something to take away from that is in the last minute, the side wings, you don't do the pinching, you don't come in and do that. You just referee from the sidelines, because when you come in, you can steal time and slow the game down and slow the offense, trying to save time to score. So that's the takeaway of that. Just, you can't explain it. It's easier to see it visually. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. But anyway, that's all I got, Robert.
Todd.
Any questions, concerns from the floor? All right, heard from Wes. Bowie will have their spring scrimmage on Friday, April 24th at 7:30 p.m. There will be an alumni flag game beginning at 6 p.m. If you are interested, let me know, and I'll let Wes know, and we'll work out what we can do there. Anything else? No questions? Nobody? I mean, you got a couple more minutes. You might as well learn something before you leave out of here. You drove all this way. No?
If you would like to pay your dues by check or credit card, I can take them now.
All right. What is it? April
22nd at the clubhouse in Annapolis.
Fourth Wednesday, we'll be out at Annapolis. Adrian Hill will be our presenter. and burgers shortly thereafter.
Wow.
All right, be safe.
April 8th, the Baltimore Study Group will be at the East Columbia Library in Columbia. It's on Cradle Rock Way. April 8th at 6:30 to 8 o'clock.
Do you have a guest presenter that night, or?
We do. Not ready to announce who it is, though.
Oh, all right. Must be big, show up. That's all I'll say about that. Drive safe.